Welcome to the video today, guys. Today I want to talk about how to lose weight without exercise. Now, a lot of people get excited about that. Let me be clear, I am a major advocate of exercise for everything. I mean, exercise is an antidepressant, antiviral, antibacterial. It works with bone density. And you know me, I've gone on and on about it. But exercise for losing weight isn't real efficient, right? If you look at what it takes to burn one Tim Hortons muffin, a Tim Hortons muffin is about 340 calories. That's about an hour on a treadmill walking on an incline. So you think about it, one muffin, an hour on the treadmill. So we want to make sure that we do other things to try to get into our metabolism and change how that works. Today I want to teach you a technique to balance your nervous system so it becomes better at burning calories and bring your metabolism up a little bit. And at the end of the video, I want to give you some supplements that are going to help you maximize that. And these are not fat-burning supplements. That's the interesting thing about it, but we'll get to that in a second. I mean, we all know people that have a high metabolism. They'll say, well, boy, this person eats, and they just don't gain weight. And when you look at that, there is some truth to that. But is it really metabolism, or is it how that person deals with stress? It turns out, as you may know, that there's a hormone released during stress called cortisol. And cortisol will make you gain weight. It does a lot of different things in the body, but one of the things, it will make you deposit your calories into fat, and you'll store that, and you will be overweight. And when people are stressed, they are higher in cortisol. So we want to find a technique that's going to bring down the way you deal with stress. And there's a lot to that, obviously, right? There's stress workshops and all kinds of things. And certainly exercise does help that. But today we're going to talk about a couple of different ideas. And first off, when you look at meditation and prayer, they definitely bring that down. But today we're going to get into something that's related to that, but isn't that. So it's not exercise, it's not meditation, it's not prayer, but we're going to get your nervous system back into a state where it's more efficient and it burns at a higher rate. And that is by limiting your cortisol. Okay, so how are we going to get there? Well, the first thing is going to be a new breath work ratio. They've done some research on breath work, and I've looked at a lot of that in research over the time for pulling off different things, oxygenating our body. And to optimally balance your hormones for weight loss, you want to make sure that your cortisol's low, and you're doing that through a series of breathing exercises. This one is easy to remember. It's called 365. Think of how many days in a year, 365, right? So you start out, if you want to read more about it, it's a book called Heart Coherence 365. Great book, gets into this thing, but real simply, 3 times a day, we're going to slow your breath down to 6 breaths, so there's the 3 and the 6, per minute for 5 minutes. Okay, repeat that. So it's 3 times a day. We're going to spend 1 minute breathing 6 breaths, so very slow and deep. We're going to use our nose to do that, and our chest. Our nose, and we're going to keep our chest still. We're going to breathe our abdomen. So the abdomen to go in and out. Don't raise the chest too high. And we're going to use our nose for those breaths. And we're going to do that for 5 minutes. So there's your 3, 6, and 5. When you do that, it turns on a physiologic reaction that opens up the healing side of the nervous system. You might have heard me talk about parasympathetic and sympathetic neurology. And the parasympathetic is where in chronic stress, modern day living, we really lack that. Our sympathetic nervous system is constantly being turned on by the stresses of society, chronic low-grade stress. So we want to turn on the parasympathetic. That's what we're doing with this. And that brings cortisol down. So when we get this happening, when we get that oxygen in our body through this breath ratio, remember, to burn something, you need oxygen. So we're going to burn fat which we measure calories in food, but that is a unit of heat. So we're going to burn fat by super oxygenating our body. And this slow, deep breath is going to create that oxygenation, and in the long run, we'll burn fat and we'll lose weight. And that is thought to be why some people with high metabolisms, it isn't really that's a high metabolism. It really is that their body is really efficient at dealing with stress. They just deal with it a little bit better. They don't internalize it. They don't hold it. It doesn't get them physiologically as deeply as other people. Other people feel stress, and it's expressed differently in their body. And that may be part of that higher metabolism sort of concept. They're not releasing the cortisol like many people do. Okay, so if you like these videos, always make sure that you share them. And I love when you comment because I'm able to answer and have some nice conversations. And give them a thumbs up, hit the notifications bell so you can keep getting them. Okay, so part 2, the supplements. I want to get into that. Now, these supplements, like I said earlier, are not designed to race your system. They're not stimulants like caffeine and all these other things. We're going to get into more of these stress-reducing things because, we're trying to turn off the fight flight, turn on the parasympathetic, the healing side, and that is that more sedate side of you. So obviously it's counterintuitive. You think of people running up a hill and doing all this crazy stuff, which is very much the other side, and you will burn calories breathing at that rate. But this is playing the other game, right? We're going to work it the other way. So let's look at some of the supplements you can take to do this. Magnesium at 500 milligrams. Now these are adult dosages. B1, 50 milligrams. Potassium, 3,000 milligrams. Calcium, especially if you have sleep issues, 1,500 milligrams. Vitamin D, 5,000. And I always recommend international units, 5,000 international units. I always recommend that people get their vitamin D blood work done because you really want to know how much sun are you getting, how well do you digest vitamin D. So we want to look at that blood work once in a while. Vitamin C, 2,000 milligrams. And this tea, it's lemon balm tea. You want to do 1 big cup of that per day. That's another tonic that helps bring that nervous system down into a state where you're going to be in a more optimal, lower cortisol state where your body will burn a little more of that fat. Okay, so try that 3-6-5 breathing ratio. Get into taking some of these supplements. Realize that I still want you to exercise for your health in general and the 14,000 different things that exercise does well for you. But let's look at a different way of losing weight. Some people have real issue exercising because of orthopedic problems, because of metabolic problems. So this might be a great video for them as well as everybody else. All right, so have a great day. Thanks.